morning students, welcome back. So today we have our SST class. Hope in our last class what I taught you, you must have read that lesson. So we will proceed on now with the lesson further. In my last class I told you about proto-history, prehistory and history period. The history which is divided into three sections. So what is history? History is the written records. The written records where we have all the written records, some of them have been destroyed but more of the records are there. These records are on rocks, on pillars, on copper plates, palm leaves, tree barks, etc. etc. We have lot of written records about them. Moreover, when we go further, as you know, history is considered with dates, time. So our dates in the history are referred in BC and AD. In the previous time it was referred. पुराने समय में ये BC और AD में हम लोग काउंट करते थे. But nowadays historians are using BC and BCE. BC means before Christ and BCE is referred as before Common Era and AD is referred as after Anno Domini or Common Era. Nowadays we use the term BCE and CE. If you talk about BCE, it goes in a backward counting. That is first 600 will come, after that 599, then 598, 597 and so on. If we want to count the time period of any area, of any time, we need to subtract the higher date with the lower date. Higher number with the lower number, and now we will get the two dates. Going further, we come to geographical location. What is a geographical location? The geographical location is the place where other things are situated which helps to develop a civilization. In India or in Indian history, we can say that geographical location has helped the development much, and it has been affected by the geographical location. History is affected much by the geographical location. If we talk about India, in the north, India have high mountains that are Himalayan mountains, and even there are very fertile rivers like Ganga, Indus, Yamuna, Satluj, Brahmaputra, Narmada. Okay. So these high mountains, they act as natural barriers between Central Asia and India. But the mountain passes, the valleys between the mountains, they provide as the routes of contact between the nations of Central Asia to India from ancient times. If we talk about the development of the civilization, Indus, Ganga, Narmada, these river valleys provided the civilization in a very well manner. Even our civilization first developed on these river banks. In river banks के पास civilization सबसे पहले develop हुई थी. There is sufficient water. Why did this civilization develop there? The reason behind this is that there is sufficient water, so that people can complete all their needs of water out there. As you know, without water we cannot sustain. We need a lot of water for our daily course. Again, to grow crops we need water. So at that primitive time, people were able to out there. Even water provided as a means of transport. That means they could go from here to there with the help of water transportation. Now if we look further, we find that the environment where the climate is not favorable, things are not favorable, the population is very less. But the climate where it is favorable, the population is very high. At present also, if we talk about the population around Ganga is quite high, but the population around... So now you must be having a question that where do we know history from? It's a good question from your side. So there are many sources of history. We learn the history from the remains which have been left behind by the people of that time. out those terms, those things. So archaeologists and historians. These archaeologists and historians, they act as the detectives of the past. From the clues they try to find out the history of that time period. These sources of history are of two types. That is archaeological sources and literary sources. Archaeological sources are direct evidences. We cannot do any changes or we cannot think of anything else in them. In these archaeological sources, they can be further divided into four sections. That is inscriptions, monuments, artifacts, coins. What are inscriptions? Inscriptions are the writings on metal pillars or walls or temples or any other rocks or anything. As you know, Ashoka wrote many things on the pillars. That is a inscription. Then monuments. What are monuments? Monuments are historical buildings of that time period which tells us about the art, about the craft of that period, lifestyle of that period. So these monuments, if we talk about the monuments, Taj Mahal, it is one of the best monument. Even Qutub Minar, that is also one of the best monument. Now goes artifacts. Monuments. Monuments are historical buildings. Historical buildings, that means the buildings built during that time period, that tells us about the art, architecture, the lifestyle of the people during that time. Look, if we talk about it, Taj Mahal is one of the best monument, even Qutub Minar. Okay, next is artifacts. What are artifacts? Artifacts are ornaments, pottery, tools, weapons, jewelry that was used during that times, that has been buried inside the earth and find out by our archaeologists and historians. Next is coins. Coins, they represent the time period when that king of the empire existed, how did that king rule the kingdom, and what was the art used during that time is represented by coins. Now if we come to the second source of history, that is literary sources. Literary sources can be further divided into two sections, religious and secular. What are religious sources? These are concerned with religion. Vedas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Gita, Purans, they all tell us about the religion of that time period and the history of that time period, the lifestyle of that time period. And secular literary sources, they are not concerned with religion, any religion. In that there are stories, plays, Megasthesis, Arthashastra by Kautilya. They are all secular literature of the history. Okay students, that's all for today. Goodbye. Have a nice day.